You may be the only example of a Christian that some people will ever know. And I want you to really think about that. You may be the only example of how God wants us to live that your friends at school, your family members, or your coworkers will ever see. So how are we influencing them? We must never discount the influence that we can have on others simply by living a faithful Christian life. This reminds me of a story of a young lady who was not a member of the church. She played in the band in high school, and also in the band were two young people who were members of the church. And this band at times would go to other cities to perform, many times over a weekend, sometimes over a weekend. Anytime they were scheduled to stay over on a Saturday night, the parents of these two Christians would come get them and take them home one night early so that they could be there for worship services on Sunday. This made no sense whatsoever to the other students in the band, and so they ridiculed and made fun of these Christians. The student I mentioned at the beginning was along with the others, and that she just couldn't understand how something like going to church could be so important. Well, if you fast forward a little bit, that student later obeyed the gospel and committed her life to God. Early in her Christian walk, some of her friends tried to persuade her to skip worship services. Even one time she was asked if she could call in sick on a Sunday morning to go on a ski weekend. However, she remembered the example that her friend set all the way back in high school. And this reminded her of what she needed to put first in life. And so she remained faithful to God and to the worship services of the church. This student was my mother. And if it hadn't been for those two high school students who just simply went home one day early, it's very possible I wouldn't be here today. You never know who your actions are going to influence. The fact of the matter is that whether we're trying to or not, we will always be influencing someone with the way that we live, whether we realize it or not.